Hello everyone, it is time for another Doc Talk, and today we'll be reacting to the latest Dr. Daff Show conversation between black conservative women and white liberal women. I enjoy the framing of this conversation due to a lot of our political landscape overly involving race. This way, it helps to focus the conversation on a mindset and ideas rather than representation. It really is quite a rare thing to see a black conservative woman, and I suspect there is a certain involvement of an environmental system and a dash of propaganda. I don't believe it to be the genuine reflection within the specific gender and ethnic category. Let's dive on in, shall we?
The Republican Party truly represents the interests of Black Americans.
Okay, first off, I don't think either party has anyone's best interest at heart. It's basically the national equivalent of a high school popularity contest. They're both just wanting to get elected to counteract some fucked up neglect from their mother. Oof.
Most definitely. If we know the history, if we know the data, we know this is true. The main issue now is immigration. In the late 1800s, Black Americans knew that illegal immigration or illegal aliens and mass immigration adversely impacted Black America economically. So what's the problem today that we don't realize that, right? Mass immigration, illegal aliens adversely impact Black Americans economically. That's a fact. The data is clear. So we go by data, we don't go by feelings. Is that correct?
Why do you think that immigration or mass immigration affects Black workers more than white workers?
Because do you believe that black and white workers were always on the same footing throughout
Certainly
history?
not.
Exactly. So that's the point, right?
Well,
We look at history, we look at the data.
but that's history. As a liberal, I hope we've moved on a little beyond that, where everybody can get a decent job if you work and you work hard and you get your education. And the immigrants coming in aren't taking the jobs that we would do.
But you don't know that, right?
Yeah, I do.
Well, they work in construction, right?
Yes.
And so most Black men in Los Angeles specifically, you don't even see Black American men working in construction jobs. Are you saying that Black American men don't do construction jobs?
I don't see that many white American men doing construction jobs
Right, because
either.
and they're not immigrants, they're illegal aliens, and they've taken all the jobs.
First off, I appreciate that she distinguished that these are specifically illegal immigrants. The Democrats typically conflate the two, when there is a distinct difference, although claiming that they are taking all the jobs is quite a bold statement. They are occupying the low-skilled labor jobs, which some people don't want to do, but a lot of Americans could find a career in these professions, especially if they are missing higher education. The problem is that illegal immigrants are willing to take a lower pay to perform these duties, and many Americans may not be willing to match their pay for the same labor. This does push many in the US to avoid these careers, when there could have been a positive outcome from it.
The Republican Party, one of the things that has been a centerpiece, especially of the Trump administration, is eliminating DEI programs, diversity, equity, and inclusion programs.
I think that's fantastic.
That is education about all kinds of disadvantages. Currently, one of the elements that Trump is working toward is taking out references to slavery in the Smithsonian Museum.
How do you know that's true? You heard that in the media.
No,
The
that
media
is actually from the Trump administration.
Okay.
But then we need to look at how it's done, not just what it's done.
And you have to be
there's a
specific. You can't be
specific to
general.
it. What are the specifics to it? See, here's the thing. DEI is not based on merit. a company can still choose to hire qualified Black Americans to do those jobs. All they're saying is there shouldn't be a quota. Oh, well, we need to hire 3.2 Black people. No. Are you qualified? And a company still has that authority to be able to do that. They should not need to be mandated. Well, you need to hire this many Blacks. No. We're going to go to the top HBCUs, and we're going to hire the best in there. Iron sharpens iron. If you're an actress and you meet another actor, you're like, wow, I like that technique. You're going to come together because she's going to show you something. You're not going to look at her and shun her and go, oh, nay, it shall never be. You don't care what color she is.
This woman in the blue has a way with speaking that demands others to listen. She speaks very eloquently. She doesn't need to raise her voice or talk over anyone. She makes her points in a way that is irrefutable. Now, I believe a company should be able to hire those that are best for the job without government interference. The government has no place in making choices for a company that isn't in its best interest. That being said, the data does show that Black Americans are less likely to get the call back, even if they are equally qualified for the job, so it is a tricky topic. Actually, the data shows that a white person with a felony record still has more of a chance at getting hired than a Black person with no record. Who knows how the data may be framed and what context may be missing, but it is something to consider. While I do not like the DEI initiative and think it is unhealthy for the best business practices, can we leave it up to the employers to give Black Americans a chance at a career?
So we can't have it both ways. We can't say, oh, the marginal people don't have good, healthy food to eat. And then when they decide to cut and say, you know what, you can't buy sugary things and soda with that. You can't have it both ways. So if you want people to eat healthy, they need to eat healthy with the food that the government is providing for them with those food stamps. Not going and buying, chips and sodas. It doesn't work.
You are obviously an educated professional woman. Have you ever been on food stamps?
I have.
So have I. And the food that you can get on food stamps kept me alive.
It does. But remember, you can go to a food store and you can't buy anything in the hot deli with food stamps. But you can go to Jack in the Box, McDonald's, and buy it. Which one is healthier?
There's a difference between healthy and the quantity of food that you may need to feed your kids.
We have to say, you know what, I can't buy those crab legs today. I can't get that filet mignon today. I can't.
Sorry, I have to jump in here. Never bought crab legs or filet mignon when I was on food stamps.
Well, trust me,
and it was not
I've
a question.
seen it.
Some people do.
Yeah,
is what she's.
There's
the point
always
she's
going to be a
making.
few, but that's not the majority.
Shoot, you'd be surprised.
I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to be spending my taxpayer dollars for poor people to munch down on a bag of fucking Cheeto Puffs. If you're on food stamps, you better be getting bags of rice and sandwiches. I know people who kept their fridge stocked up with every kind of soda you could want. That is supposed to keep you and your family from starving to death, not to be handing out candy on Halloween. That is what I like to call bullshit.
No.
I can't believe we're focusing on food stamps.
We have to think about families and how families are getting what they need.
Okay, what the fuck is going on with this lady's voice? Why does it sound like she's about to start crying?
If help had not been available, I might have been one of those homeless people. And by the way, I've never assumed that a homeless person is going to take the money I give them and just turn around and buy drugs with it.
Your medal's in the mail, lady. If I give something to the homeless, I'm giving them that directly. I'm not about to hand them cold, hard cash.
The homeless population, if you recall, it really didn't exist 40 years ago because there was more help available for it. Many of the people on the street have mental health issues. St. Ronald Reagan closed most of the mental hospitals in California because we no longer had a mental health issue. He balanced the budget by cutting state scholarships to poor kids like me. I almost didn't get to go to college. He dissolved my father's job. My father worked for the California State Youth Authority because we no longer had a youth crime problem. Money should not be the basis of compassion.
I think that.
Are you
in the
saying
big-
that that's what she's saying, though?
Well, that's I
What
am
happens
hearing
is
that.
we're going from the top down, and it really should be from the bottom up, meaning local communities should address local community issues. Because they know. Instead, we have a big bureaucracy, I guess you could say, and they're operating it. Washington doesn't know what's happening in your situation in these small community sales. So maybe the answer is not what the government is doing in Washington. Maybe people need to get more involved locally and go, wait a minute. That money needs to come back here because the local community and demographics and areas need more help than not. And for certain situations, for people like, let's say, you and I in those situations. But the middle class, which I would consider you to be in that situation, we always get screwed. But it's usually the other group that makes it bad for everybody. So I understand what you're saying, and it's a very good point. But I think that it's not the fact that they're cutting it, it probably could be managed better. And you can't manage something at a top level if you're not down with the people to find out what they really need.
I appreciate that she created a distinction between issues being handled on a local level rather than the bureaucratic level. Sometimes when we try to manage government spending, it is framed as aid being discontinued or cut. It is made to seem malicious. However, finding a different way to handle it may ultimately be for the best. Piling all of our aid programs onto our government creates a strain on our economy. It creates jobs that don't actually generate currency, but demands the salaries be paid. Our government doesn't generate wealth, it can only reallocate it. And when you have over 350 million citizens in a country, it demands quite a substantial workforce to manage these programs. Sometimes it's better to have these things done on a local level. That'll go ahead and wrap up our little doc talk. As always, thank you for tuning in. What are your thoughts on this topic? Leave them in the comments below. Just remember to be civil.
Fuck that. I want to see war in the chat. Also, if you want more videos like this, make sure to subscribe, motherfuckers. It takes like 2 seconds. Just do it.